Namaskar, Nileshok here, and welcome back to another session with Jeevan Rao. Namaskar, Jeevan.
Hello, Nilesh ji.
All right, so glad to do this second session or the next session with you. We could find time through our busy schedules. Now, I want to ask you a question that something that you brought to my attention, something very interesting, and I might have actually misunderstood, and my apologies if I did that. But you did say something of the effect that in the Bhagavad Puran, as if there are two different traditions, two different claims for the duration of time between Mahapadmananda and Parikshit, something of that effect. And so you, when you mentioned that one reference, I said that's like maybe a very original reference that nobody knows. And if you can bring that original reference. So if you have found anything or if you have anything to add to that.
Yeah, I have to make it clear that I tried to bring up the reference.
Hmm.
I was not able to pinpoint the exact verse which states 1500 years.
Okay.
Uh, in fact, I found this 1500 years reference from the commentary of Srila Prabhupada ji.
Hmm. Hmm.
While explaining the 1015 years reference,
Hmm.
he actually states that even though Goswami has previously given 1500 years
Hmm.
of time between of royal dynasties,
Hmm. Hmm.
here he is saying 1015. So we
Hmm.
need to understand that there has to be a overlap between the list of kings.
Yeah, overlap between the list of kings and some variation, right? In fact, I would say, I mean, just on that point, the overlap and missing the certain number of kings is a very common issue with all the genealogy list in our ancient Indian narratives. Whether you are looking at Mahabharat, with no, there are not many genealogy lists in Mahabharat, but if there is any, Valmiki Ramayana, Harimamsha, and all the Puranas, many times between the two names of the kings, so in one Purana they are like next to each other as if like father and a son, but you go to another Purana and there are like a six people in between, 10 people in
Mm.
between. So that is what even Prabhupada ji is possibly referring to, that kind of, missing the king list, and therefore the years adding up. And so what does that tell? And people ask me, why do I not use genealogy evidence, to arrive at a
Mm.
dating? And I said, well, they have not read my books. They are basically, or they have not read my blogs, because I do discuss the genealogy evidence. And what I have said many times is that the genealogy evidence is useful to directionally show which king was before which king and maybe approximate period, but it will never be useful to determine, at least I shouldn't say never, let me take it back, based on as of now all the available evidence that I have looked at. I can say with the confidence the evidence that I have looked at is not that evidence, genealogy evidence is not capable of giving an absolute date. In fact,
Mm.
anyone trying to use that genealogy evidence to find absolute date will end up in a big problem, end up in a disaster, because there are these variations. And where did you say you found that reference, this discussion of Srila Prabhupada's commentary or something you said, right? Which
Mm.
Bhagavad Puran, right? Bhagavad Puran
Bhagavad
and
Purana, 12th canto, second chapter.
oh, okay. And so just a sidebar, but see, if it is a 12th canto, like 12th skanda, I don't know if you knew that. I mean, again, it is in the same Hare Krishna tradition, the ISKCON tradition. But Prabhupada had done only up to the 10th skanda in his
Mm-hmm.
lifetime. He passed away, 1977. And one of his disciple, Rudayananda Goswami, Rudayananda Swami, he's one of his American disciple. Um, he in the same tradition, of course, with the help of Sanskrit experts and his own studies, he completed that work, and that has happened
Oh.
many times. Like in Maharashtra tradition, Eknath Maharaj wrote Ramayan, Bhavarth Ramayana, but he could not complete it. And then I think
Mm.
his student or his son completed the or his grandson completed the rest of the work. So that's formal. Okay, so that's interesting. But today, I mean, this particular session, I want to discuss what I said we will discuss. So last time you mentioned the Puranas. Um, this particular session, let's see if we can dedicate, because you made a tall claim. You said Mahabharata text is very rich in the evidence that provides you all the nuts and bolts to to talk about the Dwapara, Kali Yuga, the
Mm,
transition, the Yuganta. I think Yuganta is the word that you use.
mm,
And in a summary, you also said that Mahabharata text provides the first day of Kali Yuga beginning or something of that effect. So I will intervene you in between if I want a expanded explanation. But so my question to you is, enlighten me and enlighten our audience with all that rich evidence of the Mahabharata text for the Kali Yuga and beginning of a Kali Yuga.
Let me start. As I mentioned in the previous session, the way I look at Mahabharata evidences as data points.
Hmm.
We need to connect the dots to obtain a knowledgeable information,
Yes.
useful information from the
Yes.
Mahabharata evidence. So, what I planned was, uh, thanks to you, I used the vernier caliper analogy,
Ah.
the approximation and then finding the precise point.
Hmm.
So when I started extracting the evidence from Mahabharata text,
Hmm.
got around 75 plus Yugantha evidences,
Hmm.
which I briefly mentioned in the previous sessions.
Hmm.
So Yugantha, in fact, even Yugantha also, recently I've been seeing the framework that you have designed
Hmm.
for Yuga, the
Ah.
Yuga Enchilada.
Yes.
Okay, there are four quadrants, right? Even for Yugantha also, there is a theoretical Yugantha, there is practical Yugantha, there is
Wow.
political Yugantha. Because yeah, think of it like Yugantha. The first thing that comes to our mind is universal destruction.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's pretty much like 4.32 million years of Yuga.
Correct.
And the another Yugantha is in the name Yugantha, Yuga Anta, end
Hmm.
of a Yuga.
Hmm.
That is the practical, local, contextual meaning.
Hmm.
So what I did was, as I explained in the previous session, there
Hmm.
are future tense, present tense, past tense, Yugantha.
Hmm.
So uh, I devised the analysis in such a way that the Yugantha reading would point us towards the approximate location where Kali Yuga would have begun.
Okay.
So the analysis showed that Yugantha happened sometime during the war.
Ah.
Exactly after the war, the Gandhari and Somadatta's wife are speaking of the situation
Bhurishrava. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
post
Sorry. Yeah.
post Yugantha.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So if I understand, so you gave this metaphor of vernier caliper, and you are saying, giving a credit to me, and thank you. But I would say that is, I mean, you understand that that's actually a common sense. But I have to give this because, do you know what? I mean, I know you are studying other researchers and you have studied my works. Even this basic commonsensical fact is lost. Again, I will use the word 99%. A 99% of Mahabharata and Ramayana researchers, or even Rigveda researchers, when it
Mm,
comes to dating, that you have to first find the approximate and then precise. Okay,
exactly.
the problem seems to be many of them already have a date in their mind, and now they are
Mm,
going in search of. So it's like, instead of finding where the Niagara Fall is, and therefore start with the big geography, go to North America, Canada, US border, and now follow the lake of the area of the five lakes and so on, and then Lake Erie to Lake Ontario, and no follow that path. No, they're not doing any of that. They have found the path. Like, what is the famous fall in Karnataka, Gokak,
Joke falls.
Joke Falls, Gokak, whatever. So they have found that fall, and now they are busy justifying that is a Niagara Falls. That is the kind of business they are in. But
Yeah.
so just to understand, so you use that vernier caliper, and you are saying, as an approximate thing, first you wanted to find where the text is saying where the Yuganta is, like approximate range for the
Mm,
Yuganta, and you
mm,
found that the references are taking you to the timing of the Mahabharata war itself, meaning like, let's say, the 18 days or period around that.
yeah.
Okay, very
Yeah.
good. Interesting.
So one takeaway from this approximation, what I did was
Hmm.
the beginning of Kali Yuga should depend on the dating of Mahabharata war.
Beginning of a Kali Yuga should depend on the dating of Mahabharata war. Okay, I got it. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not independent of Mahabharata war. So
Okay.
if I should precisely locate the beginning of Kali Yuga, I mean in the sense of Gregorian calendar sense,
Yeah.
I should have a exact dating of 18 days of Mahabharata war.
Ah. Okay. Okay. Got it. Okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
And then after knowing the approximate location, then I when I continued to extract additional evidence,
Hmm.
uh, I received around 20 plus, let's say, let's be humble,
Hmm.
around 15 plus evidence,
Okay.
which I divided into two parts, I mean two types,
Okay.
chronology evidence and
Yeah.
astronomy evidence.
Okay.
Okay, both of them when combined
Yeah.
pinpointed towards the 18th day of the war as first day of Kali Yuga.
Wow. I think let's take a pause and maybe you can repeat that. So like a summary is that, how would you summarize it? So evidence is fine, but what would you summarize for our audience? What the Mahabharata text, this 15 plus evidence, includes both chronology and astronomy, is saying the first day of the Kali Yuga per the unique tradition of the Mahabharata text is when?
Let me also give a spoiler on the
Okay.
teaser which I gave on our last session.
Okay.
Okay, according to internal evidence of Mahabharata text,
Yeah.
Kali Yuga began on the last day of the war and on Pusha Nakshatra.
Wow. Okay, so Kali Yuga began on the last day of the war, according to Mahabharata text tradition,
Yeah,
and
internal.
also on the Pushya Nakshatra. Wow, it that precise. So, if that is the case, may I ask you? Um, so, could that this particular evidence, and it doesn't have to be one liner. This could your whole. How many you said 70 plus evidence together?
70 plus only Yugantha evidence.
Wow. Okay, hold on. I mean, see, these people, no, nobody is talking about using the Mahabharata and Kali Yuga other than just hand waving and trying to run away and trying to find only justification for their claims, trying to claim Jog Falls as Niagara Falls, okay. So 70 plus you are saying just for Yugantha.
Yeah,
And then 15 plus is a chronology and astronomy type of
astronomy evidence.
evidence
Yeah,
saying the 18th day, and that is the last day of the war, was the beginning of a Kali Yuga, the first day of a Kali Yuga, so to say. And then you added a spoiler that it was a Pushya Nakshatra.
yeah.
Wow. So if we even just we combine the last two, like the last day of the war and it was a Pushya Nakshatra. So I feel so, but let me ask you, then would you say that that can almost become like that is a astronomy, or no, maybe not astronomy, that is a Mahabharata poison pill that can be used to discredit or falsify many other claims of a Mahabharata. If the 18-day possibly doesn't match with the Pushya, then that itself is like disagreeing with the Mahabharata text claims.
I would I would- I would see this as an amazing coincidence actually. Before coming to this session,
Yeah.
I had actually thought of conveying this to you. That Nilesh ji, in fact, my findings also acts as an astronomy poison pill for Mahabharata research.
Ah,
Glad that you brought that up.
okay, see, okay, great minds think alike, Jeevan. Okay, okay, good. No, so the lesson, so the lesson for you there is, if intuitively something comes to your mind, speak it up, you know, before somebody else takes the credit, like I did now.
Yeah.
Like now you just started your career, and so I will give you that 2 cents advice on that. This has happened to me many times. And of course I definitely learned from it. But and I had great managers. But what would happen is, like, in the what you call staff meeting of my manager, and I will feel like saying something, this is, hey, why don't we do this, but I said, who am I and what do I know? And these persons all are experienced people, I'm the youngest guy in the crowd or something, so I'll not say it. And then, like, in 5 minutes somebody will say it, almost like after a deep thought, which kind of
Mm.
like very intuitive to me. And then the manager or a few other people say, "Oh, that's a very novel and great idea." And I said, "Why did I not say this?" so so anyways, no, that's a great point. And so yeah, so it will, I mean, it is, and it will, and maybe you should write a blog on that. The astronomy poison pill, for that Mahabharata astronomy poison pill. If it's not the 18th day of the war Pusha, think again. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, but going forward, so where were we? Yuganta gives you 70 references. That brings you to, and those 70 references you said bring you to the 18 days of the Mahabharata war, like the timing of Mahabharata war.
Yeah, I mean, what the Yuganta references states is, I mean, Yuganta references starts from Adi Parva till what is that? Ashrama Vasika Parva.
Oh wow, okay. Adi Parva to
Okay.
Ashramasik Parva. Got
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Whereas it's actually concentrated in the war Parvas. Out of 76 Yuganta references, 60 plus are between Udyoga Parva and Stri Parva.
Bingo. Okay, so even in the Mahabharata author's mind, Vasudeva's mind, he's seeing that as a Yuganta period, or the transition period, very much the transition period.
Yeah.
Interesting. Go on. Yeah.
Okay, and between this Udyoga Parva and Stri Parva, we find the future tense, past tense, and present tense.
Okay, can you walk us through that? And you don't have to quote the exact references, but now, so Yuganta references are from Adi Parva to Ashramvasik Parva. A significant of them are during the from Udyoga Parva to Shanti Stri Parva. And you are saying these references come with a sometime with the present tense, sometime with the past tense, and sometime with the future tense. Can you walk us through that past, present, future, and where do they occur?
Okay, I will not go into giving out the complete list of evidence.
No, that's correct. Yeah,
but mention only a couple of reference for instance.
Yeah.
Okay, in it starts from in Udyoga Parva. Dhritarashtra, let's start from Arjuna. Arjuna wants to son of Shakuni. During the war, when he will kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and destroy his army, then like a fire at Yuganta, Dhritarashtra and his sons will repent for their act.
He's saying to Uluka. Arjuna is saying to Uluka, son of Shakuni. Great. Okay. So he's using the future tense, and this is happening where during the Udyog Parva, or when Uluka comes to before the war.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Dhritarashtra laments to, I think, Sanjaya or Vidura, saying that I am sure Bhima will destroy my sons like a fire at the end of Yuganta.
Got it.
How can my sons have a chance against Bhima?
Yeah, so that is also future tense, and that is before the war. Okay.
Yeah. And then in Drona Parva, now Bhishma has fallen, Drona has been killed.
Okay.
Then then Dhritarashtra states that this untimely demise of Bhishma and Drona are what is that? Activating my mind. I mean, in a very crude translation, activating my mind like a change of yuga.
So now he sees the as if like there is a transition going on, and we are talking of like first 15 days of the war are gone almost, right? So the transition is as if the transition is happening. Excellent. Yeah, go on. This is fascinating, by the way.
Yeah, and then in one more place it states that 5 Upa Pandavas attack Jayadratha. This is around 8th or 9th day of the war.
Okay.
They attack Jayadratha, and there comes an astronomy reference. They appear like 5 planets afflicting the moon.
I remember
at Yuganta.
Oh, okay. So so I remember the 5 planets afflicting the moon reference, because from astronomy perspective, I have to remember that. But the Yuganta context is also very rich context. Okay, at the Yuganta. And for the benefit of our audience, so when you are saying Upa Pandavas, you are referring to the 5 sons of Draupadi, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I mean that is the case, and I know not everyone may not be familiar with the Upa Pandavas as referring to the 5 sons of Draupadi. Okay, so and where does this come? So this is comes before the 14 days.
Bhishma Parva.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
Bhishma
before
Parva. In
Jayadratha,
9th day. Yeah.
yeah, before Jayadratha is killed. Okay, very good. Okay, excellent, beautiful. Yeah, go ahead.
So now let's move on to past tense.
Past. Ah, yes, yes.
Okay, Gandhari is looking around the battlefield.
Yeah.
She spots Bhishma lying on the bed of arrows,
Hmm.
and then she goes on to lament that look at this high-souled Bhishma,
Hmm.
who is appearing like a sun that has fallen down at the Yuganta.
Hmm. Okay. So
So that's
those are the past tense. In both
yeah.
cases, the past tense.
This is past tense, and then wife of Somadatta and mother of Bhurishrava.
Right.
While lamenting over her son's body,
Yeah.
she says to her husband that glad you are not here, Somadatta, to view this carnage, destruction of Bharatas, and
Yeah.
end of Yuga.
Okay. Okay. Very good. This is very fascinating, very impressive, very robust evidence, I would say. Okay. But I have to become a devil's advocate. What I was saying was quoting Karl Popper. He said, once we start with the toughest problem, then to solve it, we build a theory and we test it against the evidence, and it comes out very successful. And rightfully, we should feel proud of ourselves and glad. However, as he says, as a person of science, what we must do is ourselves become a devil's advocate and try to poke holes into our own theory and own claim. Okay, literally, literally scrutinize it, literally force it to the toughest and hardest scientific test, objectively testable test. And funny enough, what he says, interestingly, he says, if you don't do it, somebody else will do it for you. That is again the point. I'll vent, during our conversation, I'll keep on bringing venting of my, I would say 25 years or at least 10 years of venting or 15 years of venting about this whole Mahabharata dating fiasco that people have made. But so I want to ask that same question, and I'm confident that you have already paid attention to that. If not, then needs to be done, which is to say, I find your your evidence very impressive, like just the quantity also, but the quality of it and the way, the variety of it, like, there is just even the past, present, future tense, there is a chronology evidence, there is astronomy evidence, extremely sturdy, robust evidence. Is there any evidence within the Mahabharata text that conflicts with what claim you have put forward so far?
In fact, till now, till date, I have found only one conflicting evidence
Okay.
out of 90 plus that I have listed.
Okay.
And I am sure most of our competing researchers, they won't even able to recognize that conflicting observation. But that staying true to ourselves, that this scientific procedure actually asks us to recognize the conflicting evidences.
Yes. Yes.
In our area of research.
Correct.
So I found only one conflicting evidence out of 90.
Okay, and what is it?